Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out Gala's price chart. And I know, since I'm checking the comments, a lot of you guys do believe that Gala is basically a dead project, but if you go and check out the previous video, you will clearly see that maybe not, Gala is actually right now at least a live project, albeit the price definitely suggests something otherwise. And these are, in my view, the kind of opportunities that are able to make you a good amount of money. That's again why right around these areas, as we go down in Gala, I'm just going to accumulate a little bit. And again, it's very important to understand that Gala by no means is like a big position in my portfolio, okay? I just have a very small bit of Gala, but if we end up going up, I'm actually going to make a decent amount of money. And if we end up going down and I lose all my money in Gala, okay, it's not really going to be that much of a hit. That's why, again, because of risk to rewards, I think this is a great opportunity. Now, what is happening in like very short? Here is what's going on in my mind. If in Gala we end up going down a little bit more, and in this phase we take the lows and we get to about these areas, let's just actually draw the region. There we go, right in here. I'm going to open a long position in Gala. Why is that? I got two very important reasons for it, and both of them do come down to Elliott waves. No, actually I got three important reasons. You see, in terms of Elliott waves, if you want to argue that we're gonna have our final low around this area, maybe this is like a decent support, then okay, you have to be able to find off of the lows a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the upside. This specific scenario is called an impulsive structure. Rules for it are: we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, our wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. And in terms of the sub waves, you know it, we're gonna have 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5. And for our wave 2 and 4, let's just take the object again. For our corrections, we should consider different possibilities. Doesn't really matter, honestly. Let's say, okay, maybe like an ABC into 4 and possibly a WXY structure into wave 2. Now, after completing a 5 wave, right around the highs is not really going to be a buy or maybe long opportunity. Why is that? Because even according to the most bullish case, after a 5 wave, what are we going to have? You know it, we are going to have a bit of a move on the downside. And if this thing is going to have certain characteristics, chief among them is being slow and choppy, okay, at that point we can argue, you know what, this is 5 up, this is correction down. Essentially, we may have a bit of a bullish setup in here, suggesting the next move is going to be a rather great one up. Now, for our correction, we can have so many different possibilities, but in today's update in Gala, I want to talk about one possibility, suggesting we are having maybe something called an ABC in form of an expanded flat, and that looks like this. This is our initial move down into a correction for wave B, which in it we are going to take this initial high, and then a rather strong move down into our C leg, which in it we are going to take the low of our wave A, and in terms of the sub waves, ABC down into a ABC or maybe a WXY. From my POV, doesn't really make a whole lot of difference into wave B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into C. Now, let's go on the live chart and see what is going on and why I want to buy Gala right around the lows. You see, in my view, off of the lows, which is in here, there is actually a very good chance that we are having, 1, 2, 3, maybe even like a correction to about this point into 4, and then another move on the upside into our wave 5. Followed by that, I think a correction in Gala started not from the highest side in here. No, most likely it actually started from this point and is going to be in form of an ABC. I'm gonna say hopefully an expanded flat, and that one looks like this. This can be, our initial move down in form of an ABC, followed by either is going to be an ABC or maybe like a WXY. And if this is going to be an ABC for our B leg, we can consider some sort of a choppy triangle into wave B, and then another move into C. And then maybe this is like a 1 2 no, excuse me, let's just take this one again, sorry about that one. 1 2 3 4, maybe like 1 2 3 4 5 wave down into our wave 5, and on a higher degree, guess what, I think this may end up being in form of an A B C expanded flat. And then if this scenario is truly going to play out, then okay, odds are from this important region, about let's say 0.67 of a cent, we are going to witness some good moves on the upside in order to bare minimum, pay attention, bare minimum take the highs in here for the first target about 0.8 of a cent. But I think at that point we can actually go quite a bit higher than that. Why? That comes down to my final reason for why right in here I'm going to open a better position, because you see, if we end up going up and take this important high, at that point maybe it is going to be confirmed that yes, we are having in here a bit of a head and shoulder structure. And well, if we're gonna do this, the target for it is going to be somewhere around, let's say, generally 1 cent area, meaning from here we can have something like a 55% move on the upside, while, pay attention, my stop loss is actually going to be like a teeny tiny one under this important low in here, about 0.64 of a cent. So essentially I'm going to have like a teeny tiny stop loss, and my target is going to be at least somewhere around these areas. And even this alone is going to give me a risk to reward ratio of about, let's just say I'm gonna have 0.02 in terms of a stop and about 0.14 in terms of target. Yeah, my risk to reward ratio is about 1 to 7, which is awesome. And again, consider this as the bare minimum target if we want to, from these areas in Gala, make a comeback. And that is a very important reason for why I want to buy Gala right around these regions. Now, what if I'm wrong and we are going to end up continuing our move on the downside, not only in order to take the loss, but also maybe even go like a bit lower, about half a cent area? You know what? That is absolutely a possibility. And here's the thing, if we end up going down and the price is going to hit my stop, then okay, I'm not really going to lose a lot of money, am I? But if I'm right and from here we're going to get a good bounce, I'm actually going to end up making a very good amount of money. And once more, if the bearish count is going to play out in Gala, okay, these I guess can be some more opportunity to get my average purchase as low as possible, because overall I do think at one point, I'm not really sure when, but I do think that at one point in Gala we are going to come back really hard, and at least bare minimum I would say reclaim these levels right in here about 1.8 cents region, possibly even go up and take the previous major pivot high right in here, which happened back in December of last year, about 6.5 cents region. I do think that in Gala, taking this high is not like that much of an insane target. So again, even this is giving you like a 10x move on the upside, and the risk to reward ratios, again, in my view, are absolutely there. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Gala's price chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.